Welcome back to another Sunday prep day. If you're new here, every Sunday I prep for the week. So that means cutting on my vegetables and making things that take a little bit longer. Like today I'm going to make some soup. I'm going to make a roasted salsa. And I'm also going to soak some beans to use tomorrow with vegan chili. So I want to soak those overnight so they're ready to go. So those can go aside. I just preheated my Ninja Foodi because we're going to roast some veggies while I'm chopping. So I'm going to take a whole head of garlic. I'm going to cut it this way, and I'll just put it in some foil to keep it together. So that can go in. I have a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes. I'm going to add about a handful to this as well. And yeah, we'll just get this all started before I chop, so we're as efficient as possible with time. I have some shallots that I peeled. Those can go in. And then I have some chilies and some peppers. So I'm doing one bell pepper. I'm doing these two small peppers. Sometimes people ask about these. I think they're called Anaheim peppers. They're not hot peppers like chilies. They're sweet peppers. So I'm going to use those two. I'm going to take those out later, keep them separate. I'm going to use them for some wraps, but I want to grill these with the rest. And then I'm going to add a bunch of chilies. There we go. Add some oil. And now this can go in my Ninja Foodi. Like I said, I preheated that on grill for until it's nice and hot, and it's on the highest it goes, so that's 240 Celsius. So that can go in, and this probably needs 20 to 30 minutes. So I'll start with 20 minutes, and after 20 minutes I'll check, and I'll probably move some things around so everything is colored on both sides and not just one side gets completely blasted and the other side nothing at all. So yeah, let's get to chopping. So I'll go over my menu while I cut up this spring onion. I'm just going to use for some garnish from like my vegan chili and stuff. So Sunday today. For lunch, I'm going to have some sandwiches like I usually do on Sunday because I typically eat low-carb, keto-friendly lunches, except on the weekend when I have my cheat days. And I'm going to have my sandwiches with some bacon and some lettuce and some mayo. So, and then for dinner tonight, I still have some sauerkraut, so I'm going to saute some veggies. So some carrots, some peppers, some onions, some garlic, some chilies. And I'll saute that with sauerkraut, and I'll serve that with some air-fried potatoes. So I'm also gonna cut up some garlic for a few things, and I'm not cutting it too fine. I'm just slicing it basically. So yeah, that was Sunday. Then Monday, meatless Monday. For lunch, I'm going to, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to make some tomato soup. That's what I'll be making today as well. So tomorrow I just need to heat that through. And then for dinner, I'm going to make a vegan chili with some beans and lots of veggies. And I'll serve that over some rice, probably some lime cilantro rice. Then Tuesday for lunch, I'm going to try some new kind of low-carb wraps. You've seen me make them out of cauliflower before and broccoli. I've done some with protein powder, but this time I've seen a recipe for spinach and egg. So that sounded interesting to me. So spinach was on sale this week, so I picked some of that up. And this is just to try them out. If I like them, I'll include them in a video at some point. So this is probably also a good time to say that we'll be filming another what I eat in a day video this week, but I'm just going to show you exactly what I eat, not how I'm making it this time. But if I like these wraps, I will definitely show them in a video, either a Sunday prep day video or in a what I eat in a day video where I show you how I cook everything as well. So it's better to experiment off camera, I think. So I'm just cutting up this onion for my soup. When we're on Tuesday for dinner, I'm just going to do some chicken quesadillas. So I'm going to use that roasted salsa that I'm making. And that, and some cheese, some chicken. You know what goes into quesadillas. So, yeah, I'll put all my soup ingredients separately. Just makes things easier. So then we're on Wednesday for lunch. I'm going to do some sausage with probably some green beans. I have a few different options. I have some sugar snaps, I have some snow peas, and I have some green beans. And I'll use each three, but I haven't fully decided yet which I'm going to use in what meal. So we'll just see when those days come. But I'm going to have the green beans prepped. The sugar snaps and the snow peas don't need prepping. So I'm just going to dice up this red onion for things like my sauerkraut. And I'll put it in some other things as well, just to use them up. Then we're on dinner for Wednesday. I'm gonna do some chicken fajita rice bowl. So I'll need some peppers for that, some chilies, some onion. I'll probably do with lime cilantro rice if I didn't already use up my cilantro for the chili. We'll just see which I'm gonna use it for. Then we're on Thursday for lunch. I'm gonna try those wraps again. So I think for when I try them on Tuesday, I'm just gonna use some cold cuts. I have some salami and things. And if on Thursday, I'm gonna marinate some chicken. I still have a little bit of yogurt left over, so I'll do like a tandoori or maybe a curry powder with yogurt just to marinate my chicken. So that's a good way to use up my yogurt. And I'll just grill the chicken in my Ninja Foodi. I use that thing a lot if you haven't noticed. Then we're on dinner. I'm gonna do some noodles with some chicken and the snow peas or the sugar snaps or the green beans. Maybe I'll even do an egg. Haven't fully decided yet, like a fried egg on top. Just make a nice little noodle bowl with some like chicken skewers or something like that. And now I just need to cut this onion into half rings for things like the fajita bowl. And we're on Friday, Fish Friday. I'm gonna do some salmon with, again, sugar snaps or green beans or snow peas. And for dinner, I'm gonna do some fish tacos. I think I'm gonna just grill some chicken, not air fry it this time, not breading it. So I'll just grill some chicken and use my roasted salsa for that. I still have some lettuce left over by then, so I can just do that. Next up, let's cut up some celery for my soup. So I'm gonna blend my soup, but I just want everything to cook quickly, so I'll just cut it reasonably fine. I'm not concerning myself too much about the size, but small-ish. So there we go. That can go with the rest of the soup ingredients. Then I have a carrot. In my write-up, I said 2 to 3 carrots, but I have this massive one, so I'm just going to use half of that. Cut off the tip. And I'll use that for my soup and for my sauerkraut. So first I'll do the sauerkraut. I want it somewhat fine, so I'll just quarter it and do it nice and fine. So I'll saute this with the rest of the vegetables, and then add the sauerkraut, saute that for a bit. So that is probably enough for that, because I will be adding other vegetables, so I don't need a whole bunch of it. And then for the soup again, small-ish, but definitely rougher than I did for that. Just so it cooks nice and quickly. And that can go in with the soup ingredients. Then I have some chilies. I have 4. I'm going to use the part of this red one for my soup, just for the color when I blend it. I'm not going to use a whole chili, about half probably. So that can go in with my soup ingredients. And these other chilies I'll just cut up. I'm going to use them for my fajita bowl, for my chili, the wraps. So I'll just slice all of these real quick. Oh, and also these are going to go in the sauerkraut and things like that. That's chilies. Then I have some peppers. Again, these are sweet. These are not hot. These are not chilies. So I'm just going to use a green and a yellow. I'll use them for a few different things. I'll dice some of them for my sauerkraut and things, and I will cut them into strips for my fajitas because I don't want that too small or it will burn. So for this pointy one, the green one, just cut it in half, clean it up, and then the top part, the widest part, I'll cut that into strips for my fajitas. Again, because I want them slightly thicker and bigger so they don't burn that quickly when I fry them up. Do the same for the other half. And then these bottom smaller halves, I'll just cut into cubes, and I'll use that for my sauerkraut, my chili, etc. So just cube that up. And then with my yellow pepper, also just cut it in half, clean it out. Half of them I cut into strips for my fajitas, and the other half I'll cut into cubes for all the other things. Then some tomatoes for my tomato soup. Could have used a can, but I just wanted to use fresh. But I am gonna cut these into chunks. I'll just take the little stem off, and I'll cut them into, I'll do 1/8. So I'll just repeat that with all of them. And I'm not putting these in with the rest of the soup ingredients because I want to saute all the harder vegetables first and then add my tomatoes to stew after. Okay, that is tomato. Then for tonight I need some potatoes. I have these really small ones. If they were bigger, I would cut them into wedges, but these small ones I'll just cut into quarters and I'll just air fry them tonight to go with my sauerkraut. And I'm not going to bother taking the skin off because that will get nice and crispy. Then I have some cucumber. I'm going to cut that into slices for my wraps and things like that. So cucumber. Then I have some cilantro. I have half a bunch left over from last week and one fresh bunch. So I'm just going to give one of them, or the top half, which is easiest to cut. I'll do that a nice fine. That's going to go in my lime cilantro rice. So I'll cut that nice and fine. And then the rest I'm going to cut up for my salsa. It's going to get blended, but I don't want to have it too big so that it might ride on the top of the blades. So I'm going to give that a quick chop. But I'm not going to cut it too fine because that will just happen in the blender, just to help things along. And I'll just put that directly into the blender for later. And then here I have some green beans for one meal. So I'll just top and till those so that they're ready to go when I need them. That's green beans done. Let's clean up. And then for my soup, I also want to add some parsley, but since I'm gonna blend my soup, I don't want a whole bunch of green in there when I blend it, just for color. So I'm just gonna take some of these and I'm gonna leave them whole. I'm just laying them out so I don't forget them. I'll just toss these in whole when I make my soup. Okay, that's all the cutting done. So now I'm just waiting for my Ninja Foodi to be done so I can check that and turn over the peppers and the chilies. And in time, we're doing 21 minutes so far, so not that bad. While I was waiting on my Ninja Foodi, I just had a quick tidy up, but the first 20 minutes are done, and it's definitely starting to blacken on one side, so I'm just gonna flip things around and give that another 5 to 10 minutes. So back in a moment. All right, that's done. You can see it's blackened now, so that would peel easily. I need to let this cool down because it's way too hot to handle right now. So while that cools down, I'm gonna make my soup. So I switched my Ninja Foodi to saute, and I'll just add some oil. And here I have my onion, my celery, my carrot, and my chili. So I'm gonna add that. And I'll also add a little bit of salt. And I almost forgot, let's also add a little bit of garlic. So I'm just gonna let that soften. And now that is starting to soften, I'm gonna add my tomato and just stew that down for a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to add my bunch of parsley. I'll fish that out later before I blend it. And I'll add a bit of water. Make sure everything is submerged. And then I'm changing it from saute to pressure cook. Lid on, make sure the valve is closed, and I'll do that for, let's just do 30 minutes so that can do its thing. In the meantime, this is still a bit too hot to handle, so I'll just put that aside. What I am going to do is cut this lime in half and juice that in with my cilantro, so that is ready to go for when that is cooled down. Okay, these peppers are cool enough to handle now, so I'm gonna take off the stem and I'll peel off the skin, which should be easy to do because it's blackened now. As you can see, it comes right off. So I'll do that for the peppers and for the chilies, and the rest can just go in whole. But yeah, you've seen me do this in a bunch of videos, so I'm gonna quickly get on with this and I'll see you when I'm done. And like I said earlier, I reserved some of these roasted peppers for my wraps, and the rest I put in there along with these onions. These can just go in whole since I peeled them, and all the tomatoes can go in whole. And then here I have my garlic that's completely soft now, so I'm just gonna unwrap that real quick. And because we cut it in half, we can just easily squeeze everything out, and it's not pungent anymore now. The garlic is nice and sweet. And now that we moved everything to the blender, make sure that you also get all those juices in there as well. So that's the reason why I use this silicone little tray. That makes the things easier. So we'll add a little bit of salt and some cumin. And I already added the lime juice, the cilantro, so now we have the tomatoes, the chilies, peppers, garlic, and the onions, or shallots, I should say. And now we can just put the lid on and give this a blitz. Alright, let's give that a little taste. That is just right. Doesn't need any more salt. So I just used the sweet peppers and some cayenne chilies for this. You can use any kind of pepper. Jalapenos if you want to keep it a little bit milder, but jalapenos can be a little harder to get here. Cayenne is the easiest to get. Or you can do some habanero, but just be careful because that gets really hot. really quickly. But yeah, just experiment, use different kinds of peppers. But yeah, that's the salsa done. I'm just gonna wait for the soup so I can puree that, and then I'll close out the video. And there we go. Soup is done. And like I said, I'm just fishing out the parsley. It's done its job, it's given up all its flavor, and now I don't want all that color in the soup when I blend it, so let me just take that out. And then I'm just gonna take my immersion blender and blend that all up. And there we go, that is ready. I just need to let that cool down a bit before I put that in a container and put that in the fridge, because it's way too hot to put in a plastic container right now. It would deform the plastic. So I'm gonna let that cool off, but that's all the prep for this week. I can now have lunch or dinner on the table in minutes. And if you want to see what I make with all the ingredients and the things that I prepped, check out my Instagram where I post every single meal, or check out the video that I'm gonna start recording in a moment when I have my lunch, and it'll come out on Friday. And like I said, that's gonna be a video of the whole week of everything I eat in a day. So yeah, if you like this kind of content, I do this every single Sunday. And about once a month, I do my video where I show you everything I eat in a day for a week. And I also post grocery hauls and things like that. So if that sounds good to you, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Until next time, bye for now.